Hey Lisa, I was wondering if you could share in the next video your thoughts about karma regards non-duality and the fear of not being loved. Thank you so much. Yeah, thank you for your question. T sent on the 30th of December. That's a great question. So karma to me is not a good or bad thing. It's the karma of the body, and that's the habits and the conditions of the body. So it's what you were born with, and then it's also socially conditioned throughout your life. And that is the karma. So if, you know, your parents are great artists, then that would be part of the body's karma. So you might have a predisposition towards art. And then if this in this life you came in and there was lots of opportunities to practice and to learn how to make art, then they might become a great artist. So that would be the karma. Or if there was no opportunity, then maybe that wouldn't appear, and that would be the karma. The same with trauma, the same with all different aspects of learning difficulties. And none of them are really good or bad, because, you know, whatever we think is good or bad, it always gets turned upside down. You know, somebody can have horrendous learning difficulties, and then that can turn into a diamond. You know, there's constant archetypes and stories of disadvantages, you know, being born into poverty or trauma, and then something really beautiful flowering out of that. So the cracks are where the light gets in. So to me, karma isn't this idea of what a lot of people think, which is if you do a bad act, then a bad act is done to you. If you do a good act is done to you. That's like a really simplistic idea. But it's part of karma. Like if I go and hit someone in the face, then more than likely I'm going to get hit back. You know, if I let my dog turd on my neighbor's lawn every day, you know, then more than likely they're going to let their dog turd on my one. Yeah, or they're going to hate me. You know, so there's also like wisdom with karma, but you know, that feels more the religious side of karma, that's like trying to teach you to be a good person. But there's sense to it. Like it's a simple truth of if you walk around being an ass to everyone, then more than likely they're going to walk around being an ass to you. But that's not, to me, what karma is. Karma is the simple habits and conditions of the body. And we all have our karma, and everybody has good and bad karma, because life is in generally equal proportions. So there couldn't be somebody just walking around with all good karma. You know, one day they're going to walk in dog poo. It's impossible that anyone throughout their life is going to avoid dog poo walking. Yeah. And this is where seeking and suffering begins. You know, the identity is that you identify with an idea. So I am this name, and then an image, and then there is this suffering that forms of seeking to maintain this idea of yourself, of someone with good karma, of someone that is a good person. And that's where the friction begins, where you're fighting against life rather than being what you are and letting life express itself in this moment and giving it to God. You know, so you act and then give it to God and let God decide what happens. The person is like trying to fight love and trying to hold on to this image of itself, which is called seeking. And then this is like a turbulent life. This is a contracted, narrow life that encourages immense thinking. You know, your freedom is never found in image of yourself, thought of yourself, idea of yourself. Your freedom is always found in what you are, which is this moment. And this is the human's biggest mistake. The human is always looking and seeking to be this image of themselves, a good person, a nice person, having good karma, rather than being what you are in this moment. And generally, when you come back to your authentic self isn't an asshole that wants to shit on everyone and make everybody else's life hell. You know, generally you feel love, so there's an expression of love. You might have emotions and disbalanced emotions, but generally there's a sense of goodwill because you're connected to the love of what you are. You know, you feel fulfilled. The person generally is an asshole when they feel unfulfilled and they feel contracted and they're in deep suffering, and then they want to shit on everyone's parade. It's like somebody else is happy and you're like, let me shit on you. Or you feel insecure because someone else is happy, or you feel that you're not good enough, or shame. And that's when these generally really mean actions happen. It doesn't mean that when you're free, your actions aren't going to hurt other people, because it's impossible not to in a way. But you generally have a good heart and they come from a good place because you're connected to love, because everything's coming directly from that love of what you are, not a personal love, that impersonal love. God, this subject is just so beautiful. You know, when you're just, when it's coming directly from self, directly from the big self, it's love. And yeah, you know, just, the person can't hate anymore. The person could be angry because it dropped the hammer on its toe, or because it fell over into the wall and hit its head, which I did this morning. I came up the steps and then fell into the wall. It's just so me. I wasn't actually angry with that, but there's other things that can be angry, you know, like I dropped, oh, yeah. But that's even beside the point. The anger is also coming from love. It's not like I don't hate the object, like, so you don't hate things. You just, it's coming from love, from no place. It's the seeking, the suffering that hates. Nice. Yeah, thank you for your question.